He told me something really important that really stuck with me the most, is that it has nothing to do with what you did. It has everything to do with how you react to it. So if you do something stupid, you just do something off, even if it's a DUI, you just do something completely off the wall. No one cares what you did. Everyone knows it was stupid, but it's how you react to it and how you come back from that mistake that people see. That's the character that people want to see, is that you have resilience and you can get through that.
Yeah. Welcome to the Military Bottom Line podcast, where we learn from veterans and those currently serving how to make the most out of a military contract. We're here to motivate, inspire, and help you leverage your service to positively impact you professionally, personally, and financially during your military career and beyond. Welcome to another episode of the Military Bottom Line podcast. I am so grateful for you guys to be tuning in and hearing Matt's story today. Matt is a pretty incredible dude. He's done a lot in his career. He's 7 years in, really making the most of it despite a setback he had early on. I'd say he fell into one of the most common pitfalls that young Marines and young enlisted individuals in the military fall into, and not all of them come back from it. But Matt has a story of redemption, both because of good leadership and his character that he was able to come back from. Now he's aspiring, literally shooting for the moon, and in response to coming back from his pitfall and his mistakes from his, young decisions that he made early on in his career. So I think if you guys tune in, listen through the whole thing, find out what Matt has done and where he's going, you'll be as inspired as I was. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. Hey, Matt, thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
I'm pumped. You're I think you're like the first person that I have met because of this podcast. And you've been super encouraging since you found me on YouTube, and it's been awesome to interact with you and now actually meet you face to face, or, kind of face to face, and and hear your story.
Much as we can do. Yeah, no, for the viewers listening, I originally was looking up videos on MECEP. I was trying to learn a whole bunch of stuff about the Marine Corps, Marine Enlisted Commissioning Education Program. And I stumbled on his video, and it only had like 72 views. And I think you just put it out not too long ago. So I took a look at it, and you were interviewing this one lady. I can't remember her name.
Kelly.
But yes, Kelly. Yeah, she was just she just got through the program. She was talking about the whole experience. And, I left a nice little comment on there, and loved it ever since. So I guess I'm your first organic viewer. Is that what you guys call it?
I'm new to this too, so I think that's the appropriate term. Yeah.
So that was interesting. And then you're nice enough to reach out, so I might as well take the opportunity while I got it.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I really appreciate your interaction and your support of the channel. So
of course, I
know you're doing some pretty awesome stuff on MSG right now, but I kind of want to hear your story and hear why'd you join the Marine Corps in the first place, and how'd you end up where you are?
So I've had a couple different reasons why I joined the Marine Corps. One was specifically for this program. I saw this program long time ago, and always thought it'd be really cool to be the ambassador in blue is what they call it. I think it's kind of corny, but the other main reason was I was following my father's footsteps. So he is a retired lieutenant commander in the Navy. And so I knew I was going to join the military. I just needed to know what branch. And well, being that we are the men's department of the Navy, I figured that I'd have to, step him up a little bit. So decided to join the Marine Corps when I was in high school. And that's all she wrote from there. Here I am.
Did your dad have any hard feelings about you joining the Marine Corps over the Navy?
No, not at all. I could have joined the Coast Guard. He would just been just as proud.
Okay.
I mean, he might have a little bit of a thing in the back of his mind, why'd you join the Coast Guard? But no, he's super proud of me, and he's always been super supportive, and I can't thank him enough for that, because it's been a rough, at least first enlistment. Second enlistment's been great, but rough first enlistment. So he was the one kind of brought me through that.
Okay. What'd you start off doing?
So originally I signed up to be an MP. lo and behold, my recruiter, I wouldn't necessarily say a recruiter lied to me. He wasn't specific enough, right? He said that you're going to be an MP. And I was like, great. But it was the MP field. It wasn't actually specifically military police. Yeah. And so I became a brig guard. So I was a 5831 correctional specialist. And so I went down to San Antonio, Texas for about 2 months or so. Did the whole school down there and got stationed in Charleston, South Carolina at Naval Consolidated Brig Charleston, and was there for about 6 years. Was there for a really long time, which is kind of unheard of, at least in military terms, for being there for, basically 2 tours. But just the way that MECEP, or not MECEP, MSG was set up, because I used that as a kicker or an incentive for my second contract. The way that the class lined up, it just happened to be that I was going to have to be there for 6 years. So,
wow. So you re-enlisted after having a not so ideal first contract, but you were able to have MSG as a guarantee because of your re-enlistment?
Yeah. So, the story with that, oh man, I was NJP'd in 2015. I was demoted to back down to PFC,
you mind me
for
asking?
underage drinking.
Okay. All right.
Yep. And while I have my my beer
it's not a problem, I swear.
It's not a problem, I swear. It's really not a problem for if my command's looking. It's not a problem. But no, it was a Friday night, and we were having some beers, and music was too loud. The staff NCO who was on duty came over to the barracks room, found us drinking, and I'm not going to lie to the dude. So I said, yeah, I was drinking, blah, blah, blah. And so I got NJP for it. And lo and behold, probably the best thing to happen to me. And people were like, what are you talking about? You got demoted? No, that kicked me in the ass, because it got me back to reality. I was kind of a little shit going around, doing stupid stuff when I was first a junior enlisted, like most junior enlisted do, because we're all, immature kids.
Yep.
That kind of matured me up pretty quick. And there are 2 people specifically that really kind of brought me under their wing and helped me out with that quite a bit. One guy in particular, he was in my command. His name's Staff Sergeant Baker. He is now on the drill field in San Diego, I believe. And he's doing really well too. So that's really good. But he, like, the day I got NJP, he brought me to his office, and we talked for like 3 hours about this whole thing and what I was going to do next. And he basically said, you're going on the next Marine at the quarter board. I was like, how? I just got NJP'd. I'm now a PFC. Like, this is not going to work. And he was like, no, you're going to go and you're going to do well. And so it's like, all right, roger that, Staff Sergeant. So I went into that, Marine of the quarter board and won.
Wow.
Right after within that same quarter of getting NJP, and won.
The irony. Yeah.
It blew my mind. And so from there, it was just all uphill from there. It was just, I would, motard all the way, just doing everything that I possibly could to get promoted. But I also learned a lot of things too, when it comes to that. So you can't just be full motard all the time. Because what it does is it ends up coming off as selfish. And that's one kind of thing I regret with the whole thing, is that you kind of get this selfish vibe when it comes to that, because you're concerned that you're trying to come back from what you stumbled on. And with that, though, you have to find humility, and you have to be able to say, this happened, but I can't be overbearing about it. I have to kind of stay in my lane. And I had an issue at first with staying in my lane, but over the years, I've learned to kind of quell that and learn the errors of my ways with that. Yeah. But I just kept hammering it out, kept doing what I needed to do, going on boards. I got honor grad and Ironman from Corporal's course. I just kept trying to be the best damn Marine I could possibly be. And I think that is the only reason I was able to reenlist. Wow. Because I was up for reenlistment in 2016. So it was like a year before I was supposed to get out, I got demoted. And that was right when we were doing, Obama era, when we were doing the downsizing. So that was like really hard to stay in. A lot of really good Marines were getting out. And I was really concerned that I wasn't going to be able to stay in because I felt like that would be so detrimental to my family and to my dad specifically, who was the other person in this case who helped me through a lot of that scenario. And but no, I took his advice. I took Staff Sergeant Baker's advice and just kept being the best Marine I could. And here I am. I was on MSG.
Dude, I mean, that's a super encouraging story because I think, for people that, aren't in the military yet or are still trying to figure it out, something as simple as underage drinking can derail your career and your whole life if you let it.
Yes, it can.
And so, while having a great leader like Staff Sergeant Baker is critical, it also really comes down to you as the individual and how you're going to rebound from that. So,
he told me something really important that really stuck with me the most is that it has nothing to do with what you did. It has everything to do with how you react to it. So if you do something stupid, you just do something off, even if it's a DUI, you just do something completely off the wall. No one cares what you did. Everyone knows it was stupid, but it's how you react to it and how you come back from that mistake that people see. That's the character that people want to see is that you have resilience and you can get through that.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. And no one is above doing stupid things, no. And
we're all human.
We're all
human.
Yeah. And what's really going to determine, what happens next is, like you said, how you react. So that's good, man. I'm pumped for you that it's worked out and that you were able to re-enlist and, you've been successful. Despite
and MSG schoolhouse from there was that's a nightmare on itself, man. I don't want to go through that again.
The MSG schoolhouse?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What about it was such a nightmare?
It is known as the second hardest school in the Marine Corps, and the reason for that is the attrition rate. They drop people for anything.
I didn't know
anything and
that.
Everything. It is crazy how many people they drop. We started out with a class of I think well over 200. And we ended up with less than 120 in our graduating class.
Why are they dropping people?
Well, because they see this program as like they say, the ambassadors in blue, right? And so we're representing the Marine Corps when we come out to these foreign countries, and they can't have people who are repeat offenders or who don't have the correct character or traits that they want on this program, and they don't value the same things that they value. So it's they drop a lot of people for integrity violations, for not doing well on the tests, for things that they've done in the fleet, for financial issues, anything and everything.
Wow.
Anything that they can see as we're kind of questionable about this guy, they'll drop you.
Wow.
And that's one thing that I love the program. I think the program is the best, second best. Well, we'll see. Right now it's the first best, but best program in the Marine Corps. But I always tell everyone, just don't be surprised if you don't make it, because there's a lot of people who don't. And the problem is that some of those guys, they can't come back. They can't come back to the program ever again. It's a one-time thing. So, for anyone who's looking or for watching, or if it's, recruits, DEP program guys, first term Marines, whatever, try it, do it. Absolutely go for it. Go balls to the wall when you're in the schoolhouse. Do the best job that you possibly can. If you don't make it, you don't make it. The program's not for everybody. But if you do make it, you're gonna have the best time that you're ever gonna have in the Marine Corps. Period.
Dude, it's I remember when I got put on the hit list for it. Basically they throw out a big list of Lance Corporals, hey, come to this seminar. We're going to tell you about the MSG program, and you can say if you want to do it or not. And I remember I got hit for the list. I went to the presentation, and I only had, I think, a year and a half left. And so I was like, I don't want to extend for it. And I turned it down, and definitely one of the biggest regrets as far as my career goes, because I've got, the more people I meet that have done the MSG program, I'm like, holy smokes, dude, I can't believe you get paid to do that.
I'm sitting here in our MSGR right now, and this place is literally a mansion. It's literally a mansion, and there's only 2 of us living in here right now.
Really?
And it's part of it's COVID, but I won't go into the whole thing.
Sure.
But it's this is a movie theater over here. We have a pool room over here. We have a designated mat room on the other side where we can just do, like a DT room or not DT, MECEP room, basically. So like designated. Upstairs, we got a living room. Like we have our own gym, and it's just full of like rogue equipment. It's fantastic. Yeah. Because a lot of the State Department pays for all this stuff. So you live like kings on this program. It's crazy. You live like kings. It's fantastic. So that makes all of the schoolhouse pain and suffering and the lack of sleep and just the ungodly, like 12, 16-hour days that you're working, it makes it all worth it. Yeah. 100% of it.
No doubt. Where are you right now?
I am in Chisinau, Moldova. And if anyone needs to know where that is, I don't blame them. It's right in between Romania and Ukraine. It's right on the Black Sea.
Interesting. Dude, that's so funny. The only time I've ever heard of Moldova, I think, is during that SNL skit with Will Ferrell. If you haven't watched it, you can YouTube it. But it's kind of annoying. My brother showed it to me, but the only time I've heard of Moldova. So most
people don't. It's a really poor country, and they're struggling pretty bad. They're fairly new too. They're only about 20, 22, 23 years old as a country. Wow. So it's
I mean, being there during COVID, you're pretty much just at the house and at the embassy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go into too much of what we're doing, but it's not been fun, that's for sure. Yeah. But we're Marines. We do the improvise, adapt, and overcome kind of thing. That's what we do. So we don't get paid to have an opinion, but we get paid to do our job and do it well, and that's what we do here. Yeah, so
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So then, you're on MSG. You're on year 7 now? What year are you on your career?
Yeah, I'm on my 7th year. Yeah, so 7 years in.
So what are some opportunities that you've found other than the MSG program that you're really like diving into, taking advantage of, and that you're excited about? So
to your latest video, which I saw and love, by the way, and I recommend it to everybody.
Thanks, man.
Is the education. The TA and the FAFSA and funding education. A lot of people don't realize that TA, especially with a lot of like military friendly colleges, pays for everything. Yeah. Pays for your books, pays for your tuition. Like you're going to school for free. Yeah. Plus, we have the FAFSA or the Pell Grant. So you're able to get that in conjunction with getting your TA. Now you get to bank that FAFSA. So now you're getting actually paid to go to college. Why would you not do that? I mean, it's not that hard. I got my associate's degree this weekend. I just finished. Thank you. That was a pain. Yeah, but sure. And during that whole time, I was doing TA, plus I was doing a Pell Grant. So I think I was getting paid because I was taking 2 classes at a time, probably about $200 or so a class.
Nice.
So. And that's adds up over time. You're getting paid that money. Why not?
Dude, I mean, I can understand like a lot of people join the military because they don't want to go to school, but I mean, everybody wants to make more money at the end of the day. So it's like, if you have to go through some discomfort to accomplish a degree, which is only going to better you in the long run, but you're simultaneously making more money because of this decision. It's to not do it's just pure laziness.
And the thing is too, is you don't touch your GI Bill. You don't touch any of that. So you still have that too. So even if you have kids or something, you can still give it to them. Or maybe you want to get you realize that you like college, which I don't know who does, but you realize you like it and you want to pursue a master's degree or doctorate. You still have all of the funding from the government. Yeah. You're so far ahead, leaps and bounds between all of your peers, especially if you're a poolee in the depth and you're not going to take advantage of this, or you're trying to escape college. Look, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, because you can't escape it. If you want any kind of good job anymore, you have to have a degree. And degrees aren't really that hard to get. Pretty much anyone and their mom can get a degree nowadays. So true. You might as well just do the work, get it over with, and then you're done. You don't have to deal with it. Yeah. But at the same token, you might as well get paid to do it, and you might as well do it for free, because you have all of your buddies who are going to college and Ivy League schools, and they're going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt.
Hundreds, man. It's crazy. And I don't think that at a certain age, you're unaware of what that damage, that amount of debt is going to do to you, where you are like, you're a slave to whatever job you're working in order to pay that debt. You are a modern day slave. And like the only way to avoid becoming a slave is to avoid that kind of debt where it's just going to keep you chained to a desk chair that you hate, you know?
And the thing is too, you might be in your 30s still paying off this debt. Yeah. And if you have something and you're going paycheck to paycheck, with which a vast amount of Americans do, which is unfortunate. If something like COVID hits or something else, we go into a depression or we have a war that kicks off or something, you're not gonna be able to pay that debt. You're screwed. And then you're screwed for the rest of your life. Yeah. So it's not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Not fun, man. Yeah. So you just finished your associates. Are you continuing on in classes to accomplish your bachelor's, or what's?
I'm going to take a break for a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm going to take probably about a semester or two break. And my associates right now was in interdisciplinary studies, so a general degree.
Nice.
From where? I wasn't quite Liberty University.
Oh, nice.
Online.
Yeah.
I wasn't really like solidified in my decision of like what I wanted to do, because I wanted a degree that still mattered, which we can do a whole of another video on what degrees actually matter and what don't.
But at some point, yeah.
So I wasn't quite entirely sure, and I have a affinity for anything mechanical. I love machines. I love engines. I love it. I all of it. I think it's fantastic. It's like the biggest miracle that humans ever created was the internal combustion engine. So I wanted to continue that, and I wanted to learn the science behind it. So I'm going to pursue my mechanical engineering degree.
Nice.
And Liberty doesn't have an engineering program. However, go into this in a little bit, but taking advantage of the MECEP program as well. I just applied for it. And so hopefully if I get accepted to that, I can go down to the Citadel College in Charleston, South Carolina, and finish my mechanical engineering degree there. So it's going to be fun. If I can get the program.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that's huge. I mean, so you already have your associates, and the MECEP program will basically continue to pay you active duty to go to college.
Yep.
It's funny, like the number of ways you can make money going to school in the military is like nearly endless,
If I was aware, or I didn't want to join the military at the time or something like that, or when I first joined, or right out of high school, excuse me. But I kind of knew the impact of getting a free education, and I could kind of see that down the long road. I would join the military in a heartbeat. Even if it was the Air Force. I'd never do that. But if it was the Air Force, I'd join just for the education benefits. And a lot of people do. A lot of people just join it for 4 years, get their GI Bill, and get out and go to college. Those are smart people. They're doing it for free. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, at the end of the day, like Pogues, personnel and the grunts, they get a lot of like flack for being Pogues. But at the end of the day, like if they're doing a Pogue desk job, they're fine with it. They're in the military. They're using their TA, using FAFSA, and they get out with a 4-year degree and still all of their GI Bill. Nobody's going to care if you're a Pogue or not. Like you kind of won. So you're winning at life. You're getting so far ahead of everybody that, I mean, you might as well take advantage of it. And that goes back to when we talking about the best jobs in the Marine Corps. And I think MECEP is probably going to be the first. And I don't have any personal experience with it. Obviously, I just applied for it, which the application process, by the way, crazy. Crazy. Speak to that a little bit. I mean, what makes it so crazy?
The length. It's huge. It's massive. There's so many fine details, and this is expectant of an officer program, right? You want an officer who has a good attention to detail, who can follow instructions and do everything to the T. Yep. And so MCRIC, which is the recruiting command out of Quantico, they have all of the documents that you possibly need, and they have all the instructions, and it's on you to do it. There's no one else. No one from your command is going to help you. It is on you. If you want something done, you have to go do it. Yeah. And this package mine was like 75 pages of just And it's not like you're writing all the forms or anything.
Of course.
It's just like you're filling in documents. You make sure you have you have to have your birth certificate. You have to have your transcripts, and there's requirements and stuff, prerequisite requirements to get into the program to begin with. And you have to make sure that you have that. Plus, on top of that, you have to make sure all your formatting is correct. You have to make sure all your T's are crossed and all your I's are dotted, or I like to say all my T's are dotted, my I's are crossed, but you have to make sure all that stuff's done. Everything's in the correct order. You can't miss a single thing. And it's funny because I see a lot of people's packages just because the command has kind of everything in one, one, like the OneDrive or whatever they call it. So I can see everyone's packages and stuff, and I can see small little mistakes. And so, you can reach out and you say, hey, man, because we're all trying to go to the same program. You might as well. And they'll come back and say, hey, you got this wrong with yours. It's like, oh, man, I've totally forgot about that. Hey, man, you got this wrong with yours. Yeah. And so we kind of help each other out. And it's just hairy. There's so many small little minute details. There's a couple different orders that go with it. You have the E to O order, which is the enlisted officer order, which comes out from MECEP. Then you have the more admin, which is specific to that board only. So you have to follow the instructions with that. Then you have the actual package template itself, which has its own set of instructions. And so you have to follow all of these different sets of instructions. Yeah. And it's nuts. It's crazy.
It's worth noting. I mean, when applying for military programs, packages, it's not like it's a resume and cover letter. It's more like applying to medical school or to become a lawyer. It is heavy, time consuming, and stressful. So
it is
plan accordingly as far as the timeline of thinking, when these programs start versus when you should start your application.
I started my package in June, and I just finished it in October.
Wow.
It took me that long because I had to redo my ASVAB. I had to gather all these documents. I had to finish my associate's degree, which is not a requirement for MECEP by any means, but it helps the package quite a bit. And so it was just all of these things. You can't do it in one day. You have to spread it out and do it over time.
Did being abroad on MSG make it significantly more difficult?
Yes.
It did.
100%.
Yeah. 100%. You're bouncing time zones. You can't get anybody on the phone.
There was many times I had to stay up till about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, calling people from Quantico to try and get stuff done. More specifically, my ASVAB. You have to have a 74 on an ASVAB, or the AFQT, which is the arithmetic, reasoning, and English, the combined score for that. Yeah. And I took that test in beginning of August, and I had just got the score back in the beginning of October. You'd think, well, that's about normal time frame. No. They lost my test twice. It took me 2 weeks to have them hunt down and find it. And then they sent it to the wrong spot. No, I never had to retake it. Okay. Well, after I retook it the first time, thankfully. So they found it. It went to the wrong office, and that got a whole jumbled up. So if it wasn't for me constantly being on their ass and on the phone all the time, literally every single day with them, I wouldn't be able to turn in my package. They don't care.
Which means you would have to wait a whole nother year?
No, there's 3 boards a year. Okay. So I'd have to wait until around March to put in another board or another package. But that just goes to how big of a bureaucracy the military is. And that's just how it operates. And I love talking to people about it because that everyone's salty about it. Everyone hates the bureaucracy in the government. Yeah, everyone hates it. It's the worst. Yeah. No one likes it. It's a bunch of paperwork that's useless, and it just takes forever to get anything done. But that's just how it is. And you have to learn how to deal within those bounds. And it sometimes takes butting heads and cracking skulls a little bit to get stuff done. But once it's done, you're golden. You can get anything done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's, learning how to deal with the bureaucracy takes time, patience. But once you're kind of used to it, you can find your ways around it. So don't let that be the reason not to pursue something, And
it's all about the people you know. It's all about the people you know. Never make enemies in the military. Yeah. Ever. Because you never know where they're going to be one day, and you might need their help. Yep. And if you're enemies with them,
sucks.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, no kidding.
One of the reasons they found my ASVAB in the first place was because of my deck commander. He was an admin guy, and we're back in the fleet. He was admin, and he called one of his buddies that worked in the office where they grade ASVAB tests. And so he was able to get it pushed through super, super quick. And if it wasn't for him, I mean, they found the test. I may or may not have gotten the test results back quicker or on time, but he made it lightning fast.
Wow.
It was just like that day I got my test results back.
Wow.
So it's all about who you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Huh. So how do you feel like that's going to, play a role? I mean, is it like nepotism getting into the MECEP program, or is it straight your package? Like, are there people on the board of these MECEP application boards that or that you could kind of talk to at all, or no?
I don't know them personally.
Okay.
I'm sure you probably can. However, I know it's just like any kind of like staff and CO selection board. They grab officers from random places. So it is totally random who goes on these boards.
Cool.
So it's, which is good. I think for the selection process, it weeds out a lot of corruption and stuff that could be caused by that.
Yeah.
But, no, there's really no one you can know specifically to do that. It might help to know like the program manager, if, just by email traffic and stuff, so that, you can track your package down along the process, because there's a whole approval process that has to go through your chain of command. And by following that, you can kind of help you a little bit, but it's a hell of a process, but I think it's worth it. I really think it's worth it.
And this is, I don't know if we actually covered it. MECEP, basically 4 years, you're getting paid to go to school. You're still on active duty clock. Yep. And at the end of those 4 years, you'll receive a commission for the Marine Corps, correct?
Yep. So the way it works is you get accepted to the program. You go to OCS first, which is different than what it used to be. And I think on previous videos, you talked about that as well, and how that process works. But you go to OCS first, pass the 10-week OCS course. Once you're done, then you have about 6-month delay period between when you pass OCS to when you go and can start college. And so this is just for the checkout process of your command and getting accepted into college and whatnot. Once you get accepted to college, then it has to be a Navy ROTC college, by the way. That's another distinction that everyone forgets. Yep. It has to be a Navy ROTC college. And so you go there and that's all you do. You're a college student. You go to classes. You have to maintain a certain GPA. You have to maintain at least a full course workload, which depends on what college you go to will vary.
Yeah.
And then you also have to work with the NJR or NRTC as well. And you have to counsel them and work with them, because you already went to OCS and these guys are trying to go to OCS. Yeah. You have to train them and get them ready. So it's a job in and of itself, but I mean, you can't complain. You're getting paid to go to college full time,
years towards retirement. I mean,
everything.
It's a good deal. But are you, when on the MECEP program and in school, are you using your GI Bill?
Yes,
you are.
You can use any method to pay for school that you want. But if you have your GI Bill, you're not married. Why would you not use your GI Bill? You can get loans, you can use grants, you can use scholarships and stuff, but and I'm sure that would probably help the tuition quite a bit, especially scholarships, but just use your GI Bill. You're going to use it at some point anyway. You might as well just use it now.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Awesome, man. So the Citadel, that's your goal? That's the first choice?
Yep.
Do you have to make it into that school just like you have to make it into the MECEP program, or is it kind of like automatic?
It's not automatic. You do have to go through the application process.
Okay.
But they have an acceptance rate of like 80% or something like that. And that's, for kids on the high school on the street. So I'm very confident that 99% confident that I would be able to get in first try. No problem.
Awesome.
So
yeah. At least that one's nearly a guarantee.
Yeah, exactly.
So
thank goodness.
Yeah. So what's your hope? So you're going to, Lord willing, commission MECEP program, what's the end goal with that? Where do you hope to get? too?
Well, hello world. I get to tell you what my dream is. So my ultimate goal, if I can get everything that I possibly want out of the military and out of life, I want to be an astronaut. I think that would be the coolest thing on the planet.
An astronaut. All right.
Yes.
You want to be first man on Mars, or what you know, what
I don't know
level
if
of
I'll have the time
astronaut
frame.
are we talking about?
I mean, Mars would be cool. I don't think I have time frame for that. They're trying to go to Mars in like 2035 or so.
Okay.
That would mean I have to be an astronaut like yesterday to be able to qualify or something like that.
Fair.
But no, like it's everyone thinks I'm crazy for saying it, right? Because it's one of those like childish dreams that you just like, oh, you want to be an astronaut? Oh, that's cute. Like you're going to dress up in your little astronaut suit and go trick or treating and stuff. No, it's like it's an actual thing, and it really only came recently. I think specifically when I decided to pursue a mechanical engineering degree. I was able to connect dots, and I think that's really important for someone trying to fulfill their dream and like they have this end goal for their life. They need to be able to connect the dots. Even though people say you can't connect the dots moving forward, you can only connect them moving back. Nah, you can connect the dots pretty well moving forward. At least find the path that you need to follow first.
Yeah.
And then you might have to take, detours and stuff along the way. But actually, specifically, what really set it off was I found in the MECEP order, the enlisted officer order, there's a small blurb, and it's about a 1-2 liner on like the very end of the section for MECEP, and says, if you want an aviation contract, you have to be within your first semester or after your first semester of college. While you're on the program, you have to meet all of the prerequisites. So you have to do all the tests. You have to do the medical examination and whatnot. And once you get that, then you can get a guaranteed aviation contract. And if you can get a guaranteed aviation contract, your ticket's golden. You're good. You don't have to worry about finding out what your job is in TBS or anything like that. Or you're not a grunt. You're not doing any of that. And then not, insulting any of the grunts out there. It's an admirable job, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So in that case, then I could be a pilot. Okay, well, if I'm going to be a pilot, then what do a lot of Marine Corps pilots try and do? And so I looked at the various different things, and most of them go out and do like commercial flying and stuff, and that's great. I think that's absolutely fantastic. But I saw some of them, I was like, astronauts. Wait, what? So I started looking into it. Lo and behold, and I knew this before, but the first man in space was a Marine aviator. So you look at all these prior Marines who became astronauts, and you looked at what they did, and they were all of them were all pilots.
Any platform specifically?
No specific platform.
Okay.
A lot of them are fixed wing. So the newest one, I can't remember her name. She just passed the course a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think
she's in a rotary squadron, so she was a Sea Knight pilot. But no, and you just have to have 1,500 flight hours on one of these platforms, and you have to have a master's degree.
Become an astronaut.
Yep, 1,500 flight hours.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
1,500 flight hours, and you have to have a master's degree in something. It can be anything. It can be underwater basket weaving for all they care. It has to be a master's degree. So I figured, I was like, well, to up my chances, right? I do mechanical engineering, which is something I've wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
And then I can get a master's degree in either aeronautical engineering, or if I want to continue with mechanical engineering, do the same thing as well. And guess what? The Marine Corps will pay for that too. The officer program has another TA style program where they will send you, or excuse me, MECEP style program. Well, they will send you to a physical college.
Really?
As an officer to get your postgraduate degree.
I did not know that. I knew they could use like TA, tuition assistance, but I didn't know that there was another opportunity to go to full-time school.
There is. And there's a couple people specifically, and this is on the Navy side, but we follow a lot of the same Navy education standards.
Yeah.
There's a guy who went to MIT, a Navy commander, I think. He went to MIT and got his 4-year degree, or his 4-year postgraduate degree, doctorate degree in aeronautical engineering. And he graduated as a commander from MIT and went full time at MIT.
Unreal. Yeah. I mean, those are the kinds of things like you don't know about all these opportunities on your way in, but you piece by piece over time, you start putting these things together and you start realizing, holy smokes, you can literally do anything you want, as long as you're doing your job right and making friends along the way, the opportunities are endless. So
the biggest thing is you have to have the tenacity to do it. You have to know what you want to do and just balls to the wall, just put your head down and grind through it. Yeah. Because a lot of people, they see these obstacles in a way and they don't want to continue that path because they see it as a difficulty and see it as a hardship. Yeah. And I always say, just who cares? It's just temporary. It's just for the time being. Put your head to the grindstone, nose to the grindstone, and just hammer it out. Get it done. And then you're done. And that's it. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, it can be difficult, like if you don't have a specific goal, going through these hardships for something that you're like, not set on, it can definitely be difficult. But yeah, if you know what you want, there's no reason why you can't push through it and make it happen. Especially if you're getting paid to do it. Like, what else are you gonna do? Go find another job that's gonna pay you? Like,
you might as well. You might as well do it while you can.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you only got one life. You might as well make the best of it.
Yeah, 100%, man. So astronaut, that's significant. I mean, this is a 10-year plan. I mean, I don't know how long that takes.
This is a 20-year plan, probably. Okay. This is kind of whenever the hell they have an opening and I can do that, then I'll do it. And by no means, like, astronaut is my ultimate goal, right? That is like the end all be all. If I can do anything I wanted to in life, that's what it would be. Yeah. But my main goal is to become a Marine Corps officer. It's that following my father's footsteps again. And one of the reasons why I joined the Marine Corps in the first place is to be a Marine Corps officer. Nice. And he was a naval officer, but still it's falling within that officer line. Yeah. At least I'm still a department of the Navy. I mean, we don't like to admit it sometimes, but we are. And just following in that line and continuing that legacy forward. Yeah. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, those are some big goals, and, there's nothing wrong with, kind of breaking your goals down. Like, yes, my ultimate goal is to be an astronaut, but another significant goal that I can pursue right here, right now, is to becoming a Marine Corps officer. And so, one step at a time to achieve the big, moon goals.
Big picture. Yeah. So, and if I can't get it, I'm not going to be upset about it. Right. It's just, it's something that, not very many people get to do. Not very many people have the opportunity to do. So I may not get the opportunity to do it. And that's fine. But as long as I can align myself now and get myself in that general direction and kind of start maneuvering my way to that objective, then if the opportunity comes up, I've already got all the prereqs done. I'm good. I just do what I need to do, and then I'm in. That's it.
Dude, and like, the more you move forward towards a goal that you have now, the more easy it's going to be to pivot. So, like, in the unfortunate event that these dreams do not become reality, you're still going to be that much closer to whatever your next dream is going to be. You're still that much more qualified to take on something else. And so rather than just kind of like sitting and waiting for an opportunity to come, move forward towards something. And if you need to pivot, then you can pivot.
Yep. You should always be moving forward, no matter what you're doing. Always move forward, and then you'll find your path. You'll find where you need to go, and everyone has to remember that you're a cog in a giant wheel that is the bureaucracy of the government. And so you could be moving a mile a minute, but you're only moving the next guy just a little bit faster. And in the grand scheme, you're not moving the damn cog at all. You're not doing anything. Yeah. So you can move a mile a minute, and then you can get up to the next position. Then you can start moving a mile a minute, and then you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're starting to move that cog, and you're starting to see things that you were trying to do back down here. You're starting to see them up here. Yeah. And so that's kind of the mentality I have with it. And so I just keep climbing that ladder until you get to that point.
Absolutely. And what's crazy is that you're going to be doing this all while like working towards a military pension where you can retire in now 13 years. Yeah. And like, if you get to do all this, you're going to be going to school for 4 to 6 years, in order to work towards that pension. It's crazy. It's crazy. The number of opportunities that are
doing it for free.
Yeah.
and get all that education for free.
Yeah.
So I can get out at 20 years. And if I decide to do that, get out, I'll be 38 years old. I'll have a master's degree in some kind of engineering field. I have no debt. I'll probably have a house or, dog and kid or whatever.
Yeah.
At that point.
Officer pension.
Officer pension for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Full medical and dental benefits for my entire family for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
You can't find that anywhere else. It's a no-brainer. I don't know. And the military is not for everybody. I get it. It's not for everybody. But
sure.
if that kind of style of military is not for you, go join the Air Force.
Same benefits, it's still there. But it's
yep. Everything's still there.
So many people it's overwhelming when you're signing up. You're always focused on the downside. Like, well, I got to go to war and I could die, Yeah, sure. But the recruiter always says you can die in a car accident tomorrow. And it's just so true. I mean, I don't know, like at 18, death seems like, the most horrifying thing, but not living is way more horrifying. So, take chance.
And I think that the older you get too, I think the more you realize that is that, the one thing I don't want to have when I'm 85 years old on my deathbed is, looking back on my life and having a regret on something that I should have done.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, not taking advantage of education or something in the military, right? Because you have no idea where that's going to take you later in life. Just like I was saying before, and this is where that term has a little bit of volition, where you can't connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect them moving backwards. It's like the things that you do in the military matter. They do. And when you move forward and you're 55 years old, if you got a bachelor's degree, back when you're in the military, that could be leaps and bounds. You could be running Fortune 500 company when you're 55 years old because you got that degree back then.
Yeah.
Or you could not have gotten it. You could be, working at some dead end job, making $65,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that's all you'd be doing for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So just take as much advantage as much as you can. Don't be lazy. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just go out and do it.
Dude, take chances, man. I like it.
You have to.
But yeah, man. So 7 years in, you have some massive goals and aspirations, and you're taking advantage of every opportunity, despite, having that hiccup early on in your career, which I think is, it's impressive. It's noteworthy. And, a lot of people, I've seen people make that same mistake and not be able to come back from it. They immediately say, woe is me, it's the military's fault kind of thing. And then it's just downhill from there. So, I applaud you for that recovery.
Well, I appreciate it. And that goes to like the kind of the culture nowadays too, is that people don't take personal responsibility for their actions. And, you can see this even in the civilian world too. It's more prominent in the military because we're still kind of that bastion of traditional discipline where it's applauded when you take personal responsibility for things. Yeah. If you go into the civilian sector, obviously I don't know how it is. I'm not a civilian. I've never worked in the civilian sector. Yeah. But I'm sure you can kind of get away with it a lot more than you can in the military. Yeah. And so people who do step up and say, hey, I messed up and this is how I'm going to correct it and things like that. Yeah. Just taking personal responsibility for your actions. They're applauded and they're usually brought up to a higher tier after that. Yeah. Because again, it has nothing to do with what you did. It has everything to do with how you recover from it.
Absolutely, man. I love it. It's so true. It's so true. It's so true. So, I can imagine what you'll respond to with these questions as we kind of close up based on what you said, but I like to give an idea of the spectrums of the highs and the lows of a military career or even just an enlistment. Kind of give us an idea of like the best day you ever had versus the worst day you ever had so that people can see what that spectrum looks like.
You probably already know the answer to this one. Worst day I ever had, MJP.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Best day I ever had, graduating MSG school. That was the best day. Actually, false. The best day was passing board week in MSG school. Board week is a very specific, it's like towards the end of the school, and it's an evaluation period where you stand in front of, usually it's about 4 people with a bunch of other supplemental people around you. And it goes to the psychologist, goes everyone who's around you, all your IAs, who are your instructor advisors at the school, and they evaluate your performance while you're there. It is the most stressful period while you will have on that program, because it is you and that board, and they will determine your fate on whether or not you're coming on the program.
Wow.
And it is like, they grill you on everything. If you have one thing wrong within your career, they're going to grill you. They're going to they're putting you on the spot.
Wow.
And so I was worried because I had the NJP, and I was super, super worried about not getting through that. And they grilled me for 45 minutes. And I'm standing there at attention in my chucks, just standing there getting grilled by sergeant major, the major, everyone who's from McEssage was there. And McEssage is the MSG, like the headquarters for MSG. And they sit there and they'll just grill you. They'll ask you all these questions. You have to answer them as the best possible you can. And at the very end, he said, "We look forward to seeing you at graduation." And it's like a life-altering thing that he said, because it just seemed like you had an out-of-body experience as soon as he said it.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, what? I thought I was going to get dropped.
Yeah.
What is going on? And so then you just, "Aye, sir," and you just leave, and you're good. So that was probably the best day. Graduation is just semantics. It's just whatever. You just get a diploma and you're
Ceremony
good.
and such. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever. But that specifically, walking out of that office, I'll never forget that. That was pretty good.
Which is huge, because I mean, that's what you joined the military to do. Like, you knew MSG program existed. That's what you wanted out of it. And so, yeah, I mean, I know that feeling to have, that goal, that dream on the line, and like that moment where it's like, wait, this is going to happen is good. Yeah. It's huge. So good for you.
But also to go to your you were kind of alluding to the highs and lows, right, of military.
Yeah.
And this is something I think a lot of people get misconstrued in the military. Military is not here to serve you.
Yeah.
Military is not, they don't care about your needs. They have an illusion that they do. They don't.
Yeah.
You're there for one reason and one reason only, is that if we go to war, you're going to kill the enemy. That's the whole purpose of why the Marine Corps specifically exists.
Yeah.
So don't expect anything from the Marine Corps. And what I mean by that is that if you are wanting to do something, you're wanting, like, say, for instance, a specific duty station, and you're just wanting it, you just want it so bad, you don't get it, don't be upset about it, because that's the worst thing people can do. And that's what I think ruins a lot of people's perception of the military.
Definitely.
Is they get upset about these small, inconvenient things that they think the world revolves around them. It goes back to what I was saying before. You're a small cog in a giant bureaucracy wheel that is the government. What you want does not mean jack all. It does not mean anything.
Yeah.
If you can get it, those are the high points in your career. If you can get the small things that you fight for, that makes your whole career. And so that's what you're fighting for in the military, is you're fighting for the small things, the small battles that you can win.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme, you're just a pawn on a chessboard.
Yeah.
And so act accordingly, because you're going to ruin your time. You're going to ruin your perception in the military if you don't.
Yeah. And I mean, the opportunities and the upside that can come from not getting what you want, if you have the right mindset, have the right attitude, and you're paying attention to like what comes up, I mean, great things can happen from getting stationed at like 29 Palms, despite what you might think. There's opportunity no matter where you go to take advantage of. So, and
that's the thing too, is that people always have this glass half empty mentality.
Yeah.
You have one life. Yeah. Go enjoy it.
Yeah.
Screw it. Glass is always going to be half full, no matter how you look at it. There's always going to be some kind of silver lining that comes out of anything that happens to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons too why I got over the NJP so well, is because I found a silver lining to it later on. And if people just did that in the military, even if you're in 29 stumps and you are hating your life and you're a grunt, brand new PSC to the fleet, you're gonna hate your life when you first get there. But just put your head down, and you're gonna find a silver lining eventually, and you're gonna find meaning in that. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love that closing advice, dude. It's been a pleasure to have you on. I'm stoked to see, your career move forward, and hopefully all these aspirations work out for you.
Yeah, I'm stoked to see your YouTube channel blow up. So it's gonna be fun.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll stay in touch, and we'll see how this all goes for us.
Absolutely.